Hi guys, Nika here with your daily neuro nugget. Keep going. That's right, keep going. The fuck, man? Don't make me pull out my weapon. Don't. People are weird. Okay, let me tell you guys, especially if you are a male, don't stand right outside somebody's freaking window for 15 to 30 seconds. There's no need for that. It's weird, it's creepy, and although your intentions may not be to harm anybody, it doesn't give a good look, okay? Either way, guys, I am so pissed off. This is like the 20th time I've been on here today. I know you guys think like, why is she on here again? But I'm so angry right now. I am so angry. Yesterday, I watched a tiny little snippet that Nancy Disgrace released on her channel. And now they have released the whole interview and it's close to 43 minutes long. I didn't have the mental energy to put up with so many lies, so much bullshit, people lying through their teeth. So I just want to go through some small snippets of bullshit. Okay, I have no other words for it besides complete bullshit. It's like, it's obnoxious. Ugh, I'm so angry right now. Now, it's, of course, Steve Goncalves talking again to the media. So we're going to read between the lines of what he is saying in this interview, and I'm going to try to read between the lines of what Nancy Grace is saying. I'm just going to play small snippets here and there because I don't need a strike, yet another one from the platform here. And the first thing that I noticed, guys, is Nancy Grace gets very emotional in this interview. She starts talking about her fiance who was unalived like a long time ago. That's fine. She's allowed to be emotional, but at the end of the day, why is she making this about herself? Hello, you are here to interview a father of a victim. Why are you making this about yourself? Nancy, shut your pie hole, please. And the second thing I noticed is that she thinks like the average human. She thinks like the average American, and that's nothing to be proud of. She's so basic, and I'm just gonna play the small snippet so you guys know what the hell I'm talking about. If you go to the interview to minute 20 and about second like 40 to 59, it's the interaction between Brian Kohberger and the female police officer that stopped him that day. And what I see when I read that, and I'm not a body language analyst, but I am very good at reading body language. I can read a room usually in under 5 seconds. So, not to toot my own horn, but this man, oh my God, he's being so respectful to the police officer. He has some questions about, you know, why he's getting pulled over, and he's talking about the intersection, because he's talking about stalling and blocking in the intersection, and they don't really have crossways back in Pennsylvania where he's at. He's asking questions. That is all. I am going to play that little bit. Playback speed, a minute, 1.5, because you guys told me that 2 is too fast. So 1.5. Let's hear it.
There is a law in Washington for blocking an intersection like that, proceeding through when it, when you're just stalling. I forget the actual verbiage. I can find it for you, but it's like stalling, blocking an intersection. I'm just curious about the law. I don't mean to. Oh no, yeah, I can find it for you.
He said, "I'm just curious about the law. I don't mean to like, be annoying, basically." So perfectly normal, has questions, is questioning this lady because he's obviously fairly new to the area and he wants to know what he's doing wrong, so that probably next time he can do it right. Oh, wow. And this freaking Nancy Grace, this is what she has to say.
Seems normal. He's actually challenging
He seems normal. He's actually challenging the lady cop on her knowledge of the traffic law and actually has her look up the law.
Listen. Okay,
so he doesn't. If you watch the whole thing, again, I'm not going to play it because of copyright, but you can go watch it yourself. He doesn't have her. He doesn't say, hey, go look up the law. I need to know right now. He doesn't do that. She does that on her own, right? And he gets clarification and it's done and over with, basically. Now, why I'm saying that Nancy Grace thinks like your typical American is because she doesn't have the she doesn't have the passion, she doesn't have the confidence to question authority. That is something that most Americans, we need to get more confident with that, guys. Don't trust somebody just because they're wearing a freaking badge, just because they have a gun, just because they are law enforcement. Go and watch all these videos on YouTube of cops that have been recorded. I just watched a video the other day of a cop who is stopping a black man, right? He's telling him that he's under arrest for being weird and suspicious. And the guy tells him, you're going to regret this. You think I'm somebody I'm not. You haven't even asked for my name. I haven't even identified myself. And what does this black man do? He's being arrested. He's not resisting. The cop pulls the badge from his back pocket of the black man. And he's a freaking FBI agent. So it's insane how many times local cops don't even know their own laws. So I think it's so important, and it shows to me the fact that Brian Kohberger is very intelligent. Not only that, but he's very confident. And not only that, but he's a gentleman, okay? He knew how to address her respectfully to try to get his answer to the question that he had about traffic laws and such, because again, he's just coming from Pennsylvania. And this idiot Nancy Grace, all she can say is like, oh my God, can you believe that she is challenging this lady cop who, of course, would know the traffic laws? Ma'am, you would be surprised. It's obvious that Nancy Grace is in such a bubble that I don't know, has she even ever been pulled over? Because God, the times I've been questioned by cops just because I'm jogging outside, I would say it's harassment. I would say it's harassment. And again, this is not just say that all cops are bad. It's not even about that. It's the fact that this man is asking a question respectfully to this female officer, but Nancy Grace is like, oh my God, he is threatening. He's being a threatening individual. Technically, that's what she's trying to get across, right? Because how dare he question authority? Ma'am, sit your ass down, okay? Yes, Val in the chat, high ratings, that's what she's all about. Yes, but people don't realize that either. Again, the average American doesn't realize that most people with massive channels like Nancy Grace with 500,000 subscribers, all she cares about is the money. That's why she's going with the Kohberger is guilty story. She's not looking at the factual information. She's looking at what's going to get the most clicks, what's going to get the most ratings. And by the way, I must wonder, did Steve Goncalves get paid for this interview, or did he do it out of the will of his own heart? That being said, he did promote the GoFundMe here, right? So just wanted to point that out. Nothing wrong with that, but just wanted to point it out. Now, when we go to minute 28:42, scrolling so we don't get striked. This lady, man, the audacity. Let's see if it plays.
Mr. and Mrs. Goncalves, the parents of Katie
You guys
Goncalves.
hear it? Let me know in the chat, please.
To Steve Goncalves joining us tonight. This is Kelly's father. What do you make of Kohberger's
Why does she keep saying Kelly?
new look with his, was kind of metrosexual, and apparently there are...
Metrosexual? This bitch. No, she didn't. She called him a metrosexual. What do you think? That's the first question you're going to ask Mr. Steve Goncalves about what he thinks about Kohberger's new look with his looks. He looks kind of metrosexual. Ma'am, let me just remind you what metrosexual means here per Wikipedia, shall we? Metrosexual is a term describing a man living in an urban culture who is especially meticulous and scrupulous about his personal style, grooming, and appearance. And this is the picture that she showed on her freaking channel, guys. I'm sorry, ma'am, but does this look metrosexual? Does this look unscrupulous and groomed to you? Bro, he is the least groomed that I have seen him here. He was more groomed in his first picture. Bro, he's growing facial hair. Look at that. The audacity of Nancy Grace to say that this man is looking like a metrosexual. It looks like he hasn't shaved or showered, by the way. His hair looks a little greasy, as does mine, He hasn't shaved. Why are you saying that he looks metrosexual? I think she is picking on him. I think she is bullying him because this picture has garnered so much attention, especially from females. Because we're like, oh, turns out that when you have him in good lighting, his dark circles don't show as much, right, as they did in that first picture. And his eyes look very clear and non-killer-ish. And he's got pretty good hair for somebody who's been in jail. His skin looks pretty clear, and he's looking a little bit more masculine with the facial hair. So now she has the need to talk. My phone is gonna die. No, now she has the need to talk shit about him because of this, right? Because women are enjoying the view for a couple seconds. And women aren't enjoying the view because he's the most handsome man in the world. No, they're saying, oh, wow, he doesn't look creepy here compared to the other one. Nikki Watson in the comments, thank you. You agree, Nika. He's not a bad looking dude. Have you guys seen those studies where you can do like the mugshot, right? Like you can do the mugshot study. Bad lighting, bad angle. You can make me look like a serial killer, okay? Anyone. It's the lighting, guys. It's the lighting. And I think also, just in general, Brian Kohberger in this picture looks more confident. Probably because he is. Probably because it wasn't the first picture where the cops and the helicopter just flown over the top of his freaking parents' house in Pennsylvania and arrested him. Probably without telling him why. I'm just saying. He's been in jail for a little bit longer now. Of course, he's going to feel a little more comfortable. Now, I was even more upset by what Steve had to say after that, guys. If you go to the interview around minute, I believe it was like 30:10, Steve Goncalves is venting, basically. He's saying, well, why does he always get what he wants? Why does he always get what he wants? Why does he get treated different from other prisoners? Does he, Steve? Does he? And by the way, did your brother, Nathan Goncalves, I'm just wondering, because I was not there, did your brother, Nathan Goncalves, when he got charged for unaliving that man connected to the Aryans, did he wear a suit to prison, or was he in orange from head to toe? Now, the hypocrisy of this man, I'm at my wit's ends, like with Steve now. I'm just, again, I gave him the benefit of the doubt for almost 2 years, guys. That's the longest anyone, I think, any YouTuber has given him the benefit of the doubt. This is what he says at minute 30:10. See if it plays. I hope my phone doesn't die.
He deserves a fair trial, and a fair trial means you look presentable and you don't look like a criminal. But we're not even there whatsoever. I'm not asking for him to be in shackles in orange during his trial. Everybody deserves a fair trial.
I'm not asking him to be in shackles in an orange outfit. Everybody deserves a fair trial. A fair trial means you look presentable and you don't look like a criminal. Okay, these are the most hypocritical words I have heard yet come out of Steve's mouth. Because were they not just ranting on their Facebook page? Let me see if I can find that post, or did they take it down? Were they not just bitching about, oh my God, why does he get to wear a suit? Why does he wear a suit to court? It's not fair. It's unfair. He gets everything he wants. That's unfair. So did his lawyer finally talk to him and say, Steve, that's actually how the world works. That's how the law works. He's allowed to do that? Because that's not the shit that he was saying before. He was not saying, well, it's okay for him to wear a suit. It's not what he was saying. Now suddenly he's saying he can wear a suit, you know? That's his right to a fair trial. So I'm glad he finally got that through his skull. But then he goes on and says how he's being treated with these preferential things, and then goes on and on about praising this new judge and how this judge, you know, is doing everything by the book. Is he? Because he hasn't been convicted yet, maybe. I think that's why he's praising the new judge, because if he gets, Steve and the Goncalves family get the conviction that they do not want, I don't think they're going to be praising Hitler. Now, there's also and then he goes on to say that that's why, at like minute 31, that's why he got an attorney. Because he wants this attorney to hold people accountable, to make sure that everything is being done by the book, right? And that they want things to be in order and by the book, basically, because they want to get to the bottom of this crime. They want justice for their daughter. But at the same time, is this not the same man that said, per the legal document that I shared with you guys a few days ago, the order request of Shannon Gray, did it not mention that this family, the Goncalves family, turned away investigators? So do you really want to get to the bottom of it all? Because I would think that any parent would be willing to talk to authorities, especially if they already have a lawyer. What is the concern? That is my question. Why be afraid of answering questions of detectives and investigators unless you have something to hide, unless you have your own skeletons in your closet that may be coming out, that may be exposed if you were to talk to investigators? I don't know. But the fact that Nancy Grace then starts getting all emotional makes me want to vomit. And maybe it's true, maybe it's actually emotion coming from the bottom of her heart, but I don't know. It's so hard to read her, partially because she's about the money, she's about the likes, the views, the clicks. This is how she lives, you know, this is her livelihood. Most of us YouTubers here have real jobs because we can't live off what we make here. This is just extra. Most of us do this for fun or because we're trying to expose something. Nancy Grace needs this to survive, guys. I don't need this to survive. She does. She needs the clicks, the views. Let's see if I can find where she's crying. It's towards the end. Like minute 33, she's talking about her fiance's stained bloody clothes and the defense table and her experience, right? And then let's play it. There's an ad and I'm muting it. Skip. Dang. Nancy Grace has a lot of ads. I've had like 3 ads already back to back. My God, she must be raking in the dough. But I'm gonna skip them so she doesn't. Let's see here.
Quiet in the courtroom. All I could hear were my boots on that marble floor walking out. And
Okay.
I'm curious.
All she could hear were her boots walking out. She's talking about when she had to go to the courtroom to her fiance's trial, and then she looked at the defendant, which is crazy. I've never known actually of Nancy talking about this before. Is this a first? Is this real? Can this be verified? Can you guys verify this? She's very emasculated. I agree. And she's asking Steve, well, what went through your mind when you first saw Brian Kohberger, right? And by the way, through the entire video, she keeps referring to Kaylee as Kelly. Like, bro, you've been raking in the dough on this case since day one, and you still don't know the first names. I understand, fine, I understand the last names can be a little bit sketchy, Goncalves, right? But you still don't even know how to say her name. It's Kaylee, not Kelly. My gosh. Praise the Lord. Steve goes on to say he was very uncomfortable, that he was trying to look at Brian Kohberger in the eyes because the eyes are the window to the soul. But apparently, Brian did not want to really make eye contact. Do you blame him? Do you blame him? And what often happens is that when people have a perceived notion of somebody, they're going to instill that imagery of whatever they think that person is. That's going to be their reality. You know how many people I've met that have come to me after they really get to know me, like after years of working with me, and they're like, oh my God, I thought you were like a total bitch. I thought you were just like C-U-N-T. I've literally had colleagues come up and tell me that after they get to know me. They're like, oh, because I just have like a resting B-I-T-C-H face apparently. It's because I'm hyper-focused, guys. It's the ADHD hyper-focus. Don't assume that you can just look into somebody's eyeballs and know everything about them. You can't. If it were that easy, we would know, we would not get screwed over time and time again by people, because we would just know that they're evil and they're effed up, but we often don't know. In fact, most psychopaths, most people with sociopathic narcissistic tendencies are often very outgoing. They often make friends very easily, and they often blend in very well in society, and they are often found in very high-ranking positions of authority. Scary, right? So just because I'm curious, guys, I'm gonna go through some of the comments here, and I actually left a few myself. I'm just waiting for the downloads, because you know my comments are always going to trigger people, because that's what I do. I like to trigger people, because right is right and wrong is wrong. Okay. This was a very interesting comment, I think, and I've mentioned this before, and I got so much hate for it, guys. The quicker the cremation, the more likely the family is involved. Detectives always mention this. That is so true, guys. So true. And it does make one wonder, right? When you look at statistics of families who've had cremations done or tried to get them done ASAP, it is something that should be considered. And again, I know this is a very sensitive topic. I know a lot of people think talking about parents or survivors or victims, or that it's something that we shouldn't talk about. No, I don't care. We're gonna talk about everything, because talking about everything, questioning parents, questioning the parents' choice to get something cremated or their daughters cremated so quickly, everything should be questioned. All the acts, all the choices that the parents, that the family members made should be questioned. We don't just set that aside. Not to mention, whatever happened to the toxicology reports? What happened to the toxicology reports? Let's see. Because I think I'm sweating because I'm so angry. I need water. I got gifted all this spooky stuff by my mom. She loves me. Isn't that cool? Okay. I don't think we ever had access to the toxicology reports. I don't think they were ever released. What is interesting is that the coroner, who is also a nurse, who is also a lawyer, who apparently is like 10 things in that town. I understand it's a small town, but she does a lot, right? How detailed can she be if she's doing like 10 jobs at once? And of course, I'm exaggerating. But nonetheless, when she was asked about the toxicology reports, this is what he said. Let me try to find her. What's her name? Maybit. Ooh, here we go. December 14th, 2022. So this was like the early days, right? Yeah, Beyond Fire. Nika is live again. I know, for the 50th time, guys. I'm just like angry. I'm livid. I just watched snippets of this stupid interview. And I must wonder, did Steve make money on that? We know he's a businessman, right? He's very business oriented. I wonder if he got lessons from Mr. Scott Green. Okay. I wanted to find her own words, so I found it here in this article. This is what she said. They can be related to cause or manner of death, but they are not in this case. Kathy Maybit said of the test that determined whether alcohol or drugs. Who's talking? TurboTax. Don't pay your taxes, kids. They can be related to cause or manner of death, but they're not in this case. Kathy Maybit said of the test that determined whether alcohol or drugs were in a person's system when they died. She added that their results are unlikely to offer any new clues for investigators. How can you say that? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. No, that was, I don't know what is Chatterbait. That was an ad for TurboTax. I don't know what that is. What is Chatterbait? I'm too old, guys. So how can you say that? Okay, just because drugs didn't kill them, doesn't mean that it couldn't have potentially played a role into their unalivings. Because my first thought, if nobody heard anything, we don't know, right? Because we know that Dylan Mortensen has she's sketchy. She's sketchy. But if nobody actually heard anything in the neighborhood, no screaming, whatever, well, my first thought was, this is a drug house. These are females and people in the home who are known to consume substances, illegal substances as well. Very easily could somebody have given them something, or maybe they took something, and maybe that something could have affected how they reacted when somebody tried to harm them. If you're drugged up, if somebody drugged you up, you think you're going to be able to react if you're out of it? I don't think so. And something else that I must wonder is this whole speculation, this whole theory that maybe, just maybe, the crime actually did take place much earlier than previously stated. And if that's the case, were the bodies moved? And even if they were not moved, if the crime took place under the influence of where the 4 victims were potentially drugged, then would that not be the perfect excuse to wait for that massive 12-hour delay? Because from what I remember is that the cops were not called until about noon. That's a long ass time, right? So if you wait that long, guess what happens? Then that means that the drugs are out of people's system. Is that the perfect crime? I'm just saying, you can't say that the toxicology reports do not matter. And even if, let's say, when people pass away or they're unalived, they lose body fluids. They defecate, they urinate, everything in between. Even if the substances, maybe illegal substances, were in their body and they lost them before, if their body released these substances before the cops were at 1122 King Road after noon, then could you technically still find remains of those illegal substances in the urine or the defecation, the feces that would be near the body? I think you could. Now, did they test for that? Are they going to let us know when the trial begins? I don't think so. I think they're going to try to hide it. If I remember correctly, Mr. Goncalves had originally said that he was concerned that horrible, disgusting things would come out. What is he talking about? And when he did say that, he sounded very paranoid. He sounded very disturbed. He sounded disgusted. What are these disgusting things that will maybe be exposed at trial? So many theories, so many rabbit holes. That's it for the day, guys. I'm literally done ranting for the day. I guess this is what, my 4th upload? I know. I swear I'm done. I swear I'm done. You guys have a great evening. Thank you for all supporting me in the chat. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave an emoji, leave a like. There's 62 of you in here. Let's go to the chat. OnlyFans sugar babies. I have heard that Maddie had an OnlyFans, and is that bad? Is that good? I don't care. That's not for me to judge, but could that be motive for somebody to try to do something to them? I think so. Nikki Watson, thank you. Nika, thank you, guys. Oh, I love the emojis. They're so cute. Have a great day. Crime time. Thank you, guys. It's just crazy, and not to mention, like I said in this interview, Steve Goncalves was, of course, promoting the GoFundMe. Does he owe money? Steve, do you owe money? Let me know. I'm serious. I hope not. I hope not. You guys take care. Bye-bye.